It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, we're going to cover the Mage Satori, where he falls on my special tier list, and maybe a little bit more about him here and there. We'll see how the video goes. Before we get too far into Satori as a hero and his stats and all that, take a quick glance at my unique tier list. It is not about power. It is about utility. It is about where a hero will fit in a team. You can see that there are unique names. These names were come up with in our live streams, and they're just fun names. We're working on real names for these different 5 different tiers. But again, this isn't a video discussing where Satori fits in the grand scheme of magic damage dealers. Is he better than this hero? Is he worse than that hero? This is about where Satori fits in your team and in your account. All right, so let's take a quick look at Satori's stat sheet. He is a frontline mage, which is very peculiar. Very peculiar. His main stat, of course, is intelligence, and you can see down there at the bottom that he does provide his own magic penetration. Very key in a damage dealer, not just a magic damage dealer, but a damage dealer. He has 4 skills, and they all pretty well. 2 of them play pretty well off of each other. You have Ravenous Pack, his ultimate. This is his gray or white or starter ability, whatever you want to call it. The hero's base attacks deal magic damage and apply Foxfire marks to enemies. When the skill is activated, the enemies take damage for each mark applied to them. So 2 parts to this skill that's worth chatting about. The hero's base attacks deal magic damage. So this is one of 2 heroes in the entire game of Hero Wars whose magic attacks deal magic damage. That is why, for the most part, whenever we're talking about leveling up a hero's mitigation stats, that is those armor, health, and magic defense stats, it is always recommended to level up armor first, because the majority of the heroes in the game, their basic attacks are physical attacks. Satori here attacks with magic damage. Interesting. So his basic attacks apply Foxfire marks to each enemy that he hits. Not all enemies, just one enemy. All right. And whenever he activates this skill, the enemy takes damage for each Foxfire mark applied to them. And you can see here a 50% modifier is quite high. Of course, it's going to really determine on how many of these Foxfire marks are applied to the enemy. The green ability, his second ability, is Spirit Purification. Satori attacks all enemies, dealing damage and applying a Foxfire mark. So in this ability, he applies a Foxfire mark to the entire enemy team. And you can see here we have another high damage modifier, 40% magic damage. Now, while this is a strong ability, it is not really his bread and butter ability, and his gray ability, his ultimate ability, is kind of his big hit. Reason why he is a master single target damage dealer. We'll talk about that in a second. Blue ability, Eternal Wisdom. Each successful base attack steals intelligence from the enemy and restores Satori's health by 200% of the damage dealt. The intelligence steal is active until the battle ends and cannot be countered. Cannot be canceled. So, as far as I know, this ability cannot be removed by any hero that removes debuffs. I would need to double check that, but the fact that it says it right here pretty well says that it can't be removed by Celeste, Nebula, or Sebastian on Facebook. So how could you use this ability effectively? Well, if your enemy tank is of a magical nature, such as maybe I don't know, Astaroth, really any magical tank, it does okay. But where it really shines, where this ability really shines, is if you're going up against an enemy Krista tank. If you're going up against the enemy twins team with Krista as the tank, this ability will really help to lower Krista's damage output. Also reducing her intelligence, so Lars gets a little higher, so Cornelius can hit him. Check out a previous video where I talk about Satori and Cornelius versus the twins. Finally, Violet ability, Imminent Reckoning. This ability states that Satori applies 9 Foxfire marks to enemies each time they gain bonus energy. This is bonus energy, not regular energy gain, not starting with extra energy. This is there are a couple of heroes in the game that will gain bonus energy on specific functions. So Orion gains bonus energy on attacks. Jorgen, I believe, gains bonus energy for an ally. Kark gains a little bit of bonus energy here and there. Whenever those heroes gain bonus energy, 9 Foxfire marks are immediately applied to that hero. And then, of course, whenever a Ravenous Pack, Satori's ultimate, fires off, there's massive damage to that hero. So this is a great hero to counter enemy Jorgens, to counter enemy Orions, and in some cases to counter enemy Karks. Fun hero here. Another thing to take into account is the pet Kayn. If you're on Facebook and you're going up against the dodge team and one of the enemy heroes is using Kayn, the pet Kayn, Kayn will give that dodge hero bonus energy on dodge. So every time that hero dodges, be it Aurora, Yasmin, Elmer, Jet, I don't know, Nebula, Qingmao, there's a bonus 9 Foxfire marks applied. And of course, if Satori lives long enough in those teams, in those instances, to fire off Ravenous Pack, that ability, being a magic ability, cannot be dodged. Unless you're Heidi. We'll talk about Heidi in another video, though. Satori has 2 skins only. He has his base skin, which is Intelligence, and then just about a year ago, he got a second skin, a Cybernetic skin. Satori's only been around for a little over a year. He is, I think he was added right before Martha, I believe, and Martha was added kind of this time last year, maybe a year and 2 months ago last year. So Satori is it's kind of odd that Satori doesn't have an extra third skin yet. Martha having already 2 additional skins. All other new heroes have a new skin except for Yasmin, of course, and Vari has a new skin. Martha, like I mentioned, has 2. Sebastian has a new skin. So I would probably, I would usually say level up his intelligence first, but I like leveling up this armor skin since he's so far forward. I think this armor skin is just as, if not more important than the default skin. However, you might not be able to get access to the cybernetic skin easily, and if you can't, go ahead and level up that intelligence skin, because it's kind of the de facto choice for magic damage dealers. So as far as glyphs are concerned, you could go the same route that I just mentioned, leveling up his mitigation instead. But what I find to be the most beneficial to do is to pair Satori with Astaroth. Maybe not the most meta Satori team out there. I think Cleaver is more often used with Satori for some reason. I think it has to do with the size of Cleaver, like the actual physical size. It pushes Satori back a little bit. But if you partner Satori with Astaroth, that is can revive Satori, then I would definitely level your glyphs in this order: penetration, magic attack, intelligence, health, and then armor. Next, we can take a look at Satori's list of artifacts. You can see here, as I mentioned earlier, his Manuscript of the Void, the book, does provide magic penetration, just like one of his glyphs do. So I would level that up first. Of course, Fan of the Black Fox being magic attack is going to be very beneficial, depending on what team you're dealing with. If Satori is your main attacking hero and you've got a couple of support heroes behind him, maybe this magic attack is more beneficial. It's really going to depend on your team, but with most damage dealers, if they have a book that provides penetration, either physical or magical penetration, you want to level that book up first, and that's kind of my opinion. So, with all of that being said, and we spent a good 8 minutes chatting about Satori, where do you guys think he lands on my tier list? So, Satori is one of the very few damage dealers that actually falls into the water bottle tier. Now, this hero can bring utility to any team, and you can easily build a team around him. There is some argument that maybe he's not quite enough utility to bring to a team, but I would argue that if you're having trouble with an enemy Jorgen, if you're having trouble with an enemy Orion, or if you're going up against an enemy that has Kayn as a patron to pet, there is no better hero to sub into your main team than Satori to help you defeat that team. Okay, now obviously you need to level up Satori to be competitive, to be, close in power level to your team, but he's definitely not dead battery. I would definitely recommend leveling him up. He's super easy to get on mobile, a little harder on Facebook, but that's okay. He is okay in Campaign, Tower, and Outland. He's particularly strong in Outland at lower to mid levels, being that he provides magic attack on base attacks. So he's effective excuse me, he's quite effective against the Brog. Brog is the one that takes magic damage, right? Yeah, I think it is. So you know he's okay there, but I think he really shines if you build a team around him. But you can also absolutely keep him leveled up to sub in against certain teams. Now I'd like to do a couple of videos based on Satori. There's a couple of really fun teams that I like with Satori. I think he's a little outshined by Lars and Krista, the twins, when it comes to magic damage. And I think in the grand scheme overall, I think that his teams are maybe a half step behind some of the other meta teams, you know, the Kira teams, the Kark teams, the Twins teams. But you can definitely find a home for him. And if you like his aesthetic a lot, which he's kind of cool, my oldest, my 10-year-old loves foxes. He loves Satori, loves me playing with him all the time. So we'll, you know, if I can ever get my kids hooked on Hero Wars, which I know that I probably shouldn't, then he'll likely use Satori as his main hero. So on screen now, I have that video that I mentioned earlier talking about Lars and Krista's counter with Satori and Cornelius. So check that video out. If you are, you know, if you want to hang out a little bit longer, I do live stream every weekday, and there's a good chance that here in a little bit after this video goes live, I will be live streaming. You can see the calendar, the schedule of my live streaming on screen now. But if you don't want to and you don't want to watch another video, that's okay too. Just having you watch this video is enough for me. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.